Methane gas, toxic chemicals, and teenagers don't mix. But this dangerous combination is on the verge of exploding at Beverly High, turning the school into a mega disaster. Hard to imagine? Not if Metro has its way and runs a subway under the school.
Those tunnels aren't going to be under the buildings. They are so shallow, they're going to be running through the buildings.
The Beverly Hills City Council supports a subway, but not routing it under Beverly.
The entire council is opposed to tunneling under the high school.
There's good reason to be opposed. Devastating methane blasts have happened under similar circumstances. The worst in 1985 at the Ross Dress for Less store on Fairfax.
Methane gas in a very small quantity in an enclosed space blew the entire front of the store off, and 31 people had third-degree burns and were taken to the hospital. The fires burned for 2 city blocks for 5 continuous days, 24 hours a day.
At Fairfax and at Beverly High, methane comes from oil under the ground. For much of the 20th century, Beverly was an oil field, producing thousands of barrels a day.
The majority of the wells are drilled from platforms. These wells can go out a mile in all directions, like a spider web, and it's not known where the wells are.
We know that many of the wells were never mapped accurately and were not plugged and capped properly.
Now Metro wants to cut a swath right through that old oil field.
Where you see the green fencing in the dirt area, this is the path that the subway would follow. It's a 140-foot swath right through the center of our campus. And if you look between those 2 large buildings, just in the middle of those buildings is where the Constellation station would be.
One wrong move could put kids and teachers at risk.
You have a tunneling machine that hits that casing, that's metal on metal. There's always the potential for sparks. If we have methane mixed with oxygen, that potentially creates an explosive or flammable situation.
Tunneling could release toxic chemicals, the same kind that contaminated another Los Angeles school, Belmont High.
There's hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide is a health hazard, and in relatively low doses.
That's the classic smell that you get from a rotten egg. The problem with hydrogen sulfide is, as the concentration rises, you no longer smell it anymore. It's deadened your ability to smell. And at that same time, that's when for children it's destroying their brain and doing other kinds of bad things to the neurological system.
Metro could leave the school district with not only a disaster, but a huge bill.
The Belmont repair took many years to accomplish. It was very expensive. All the buildings had to be retrofitted to put a gas collection system in place, and in one case, one of the buildings had to be torn down.
The risks are so real that in the state of California, there are no transit tunnels under any permanent school buildings. All these dangers can be avoided if Metro sticks to its original plan to run the subway down Santa Monica Boulevard.
Santa Monica is the least intrusive route. It will actually save travel time. It's a more direct line.
Metro's decision to move the station 1 block from Santa Monica Boulevard to Constellation will add another $100 million to the cost.
We're talking about 1,000 feet, something that you can walk in a couple minutes.
So why does Metro want it moved?
The LA Weekly has exposed a connection between some of the politicians who run Metro and developers who have given them significant financial contributions.
Another newspaper, the Beverly Hills Courier, has conducted an exhaustive investigation and traced the money back to JMB Realty. The developers would like to see the subway drop passengers right at the doorstep of their new high-rises. But the West Side Subway should serve the needs of the entire community. And where children are concerned, safety is the community's #1 priority.
Our children, and all children for that matter, deserve the very best.